ต่ออากาศ พุทธานุสติ ธัมมานุสติ สังฆานุสติ ศีลานุสติ These recollections are for the sake of developing immunity for our hearts. Today is the 9th day of March, and we'll bring the topic of the good opportunity to develop the good qualities of a human. We can consider this human life as a natural resource, full of the highest potential. We say that a human birth is an excellent being, and that's because of the potential for a human being, and that potential needs to be developed. It's the potential to overcome all of those obstacles which we have not yet overcome. The potential to go beyond those obstacles which perhaps we can not yet see. We give importance to uncovering those obstacles and going beyond them. So Buddhanusati is a reflection of that Buddha who has gone beyond all the obstacles that a human heart may face, and who's lifted that heart up to the utmost. And so being born as a human and having that potential to uplift the heart, then the great blessing and benefit of being a human can also be born. And we give rise to that potential, make it come to be through our practice, for which we come to a supportive place like this. But we need to know how to build up that practice, how to develop it. So we all understand that having a body, we need to maintain our health. At the very least, we need to obtain that and maintain that immunity. If we don't maintain our health, then we'll end up being a burden for others to take care of. So when we reflect on Buddhanusati, we're thinking of a human who has developed their potential of mindfulness and wisdom. And so that mindfulness and wisdom is the greatest quality when it's brought to fulfillment, and it makes for the greatest benefit. And so when we respect the Buddha and we give our praises to the Buddha, it's not simply to the body of that historical Buddha, but it's to the quality of mindfulness and wisdom that's been developed to the utmost, free of all obstacles. So these qualities of the Buddha, there are three. And the first is just that mindfulness and wisdom that we call Panya Guna. That's to fully know and understand those things that need to be known and understood, meaning, suffering and its cause. It means to know and understand cause and effect, to know that which is beneficial and know which is harmful, so that we know then to develop that which is beneficial, and we know to abandon that which is harmful. So, suffering in the heart, it comes from these causes. From understanding causes, we take away the causes for harm and develop the causes for goodness. And we develop that heart to its perfection. Until we're able to develop the heart to perfection, then we'll feel a sense of lacking and a sense of longing. And in fact, that sense of deprivation and longing is just this experience of being subject to kilesa, subject to craving and clinging. And that craving itself is the obstacle. In fact, it's the cause of suffering. So we learn to abandon that craving, not to follow that, and give up that feeling of lacking, and simply develop the right understanding of the right practice in the present moment, not too much and not too little. Understanding that as our moving through the world gives way to an experience where we feel gain and loss, pleasure, and we feel displeasure, we understand that those positive and negative feelings are just feelings. We let them go and understand that in reality, nature in its changing states is really just neutral. So we learn to understand nature according to the truth of the way it is, and not to judge it. We gradually give up our liking and disliking. But of craving, there are 3 different types. There's that craving for sensuality, kama tanha. There's a strong sense of wanting to feel good, and we're accustomed to experiencing life through the senses. For as long as we believe that there's goodness and badness, for as long as we have liking and disliking, we'll always go on craving pleasant experiences through the senses. And bhava tanha, the craving for becoming, is very similar. And for as long as we believe that there is that happiness to be gained in the world, then we'll crave that kind of existence, and we'll crave that kind of becoming. The third type of craving, vibhava tanha, is a little different, but it really just refers to aversion to those feelings and experiences that we don't want. The Buddha, fully understanding all of this, abandoned liking and disliking. And we say that the Buddha's mindfulness and wisdom was brought to fulfillment. The second great quality of the Buddha is the purity of the Buddha. And this is developed through cultivation of the mind. That kind of merit we call bhavanamaya punya. It's a cleaning of the heart. We say that cleaning of the heart causes us to feel good, takes away the heat, and removes the intoxication. When the mind's pure, it can be brought to one-pointedness, and then that is an equanimous state for the mind. And the mind can then be productive of wholesome emotions, which we call the vikara dhammas. The mind is then suitable to conduct in those wholesome states of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy and equanimity. The mind that is peaceful, the mind that is clean and pure, is also peaceful. And this is the great treasure and benefit of being human, but it's only fully realized when the heart's fully purified. Now, this is another quality that the Buddha developed. Until that quality is fully developed, then the mind still falls into delusion. The mind still falls into defilement, and the heart gets heated and irritated. And we understand that because we feel that lack of freedom. We have a lack of freedom for as long as we're still tied to those 3 unwholesome roots of greed, hatred and delusion. But those three unwholesome roots can be cut, they can be removed. And the Buddha did that. By purifying the mind, the Buddha showed that the heart can be removed from all danger by removing those causes for harm. And there are three great qualities that we refer to of the Buddha. The third one is his great compassion and loving kindness, which we call Maha Karuna Guna. Or we can call it Metta Guna. Metta, loving kindness, is the Dhamma that supports the world in just the same way that this earth supports all of us in the world. Regardless of our posture, it always provides support. And in the same non-discriminating way, so loving kindness supports all beings of the world. The quality of having kindness, having goodness, is the quality of the Buddha that we all aspire to. When that quality is developed, we know that we don't need to have any fear or suspicion around such a being, because there's no cause for danger and no cause for harm. If we can develop this within our heart and remove all of the obstacles, then there'll only be that feeling of convenience, and in the heart being purified can then fully develop this wholesome quality. And so these three qualities of wisdom, purity and loving kindness are qualities that the Buddha fulfilled. So each of us as a human, it's important for us not just to take care of the health of our body, but we have this responsibility to develop and maintain health of the mind. So Buddhanusati is a reflection on that great potential to which we should aspire and practice to achieve in our own mind and our own life. And then we can say that our own heart is free from illness. So our body really is just an impermanent thing, and it's always subject to sickness. So for as long as we still have that life and it's still able to provide us the opportunity, then we should practice Buddhanusati, understand the correct aspiration for a human, and then to develop it and to make it arise. In just the same way that the Buddha, having achieved perfect enlightenment, had the kindness and compassion to teach us the way, so we also should have the same compassion towards ourselves and others to practice that path and bring it to fulfillment. The Buddha taught the way and made it very simple for us. He said by abstaining from all evil ways and cultivating goodness to the utmost, and then purifying the mind, giving up the cause of all evil. That's the way we bring the mind to safety. That's the way to peacefulness and happiness. So each of us should reflect on this until we understand it, and then we should take it and practice so we can develop it and bring it to fulfillment securely, so that we can live in safety. And that begins with protecting ourselves and protecting others from the wrong things we might do by living in fear and shame of wrongdoing. So that Hiri and Ottappa, they're the protectors of the world, and our practice needs to begin there. We need to have a firm foundation there. All of us should build those habits. So we give up those causes for danger, and we give up our craving and our desire for excess. We don't worry that we'll fall short, but we practice just knowing the right amount. And in that way, we create the right foundation for our own practice and development. So in our lives we have the physical component of our body, and we have that immaterial component which is our mind, that we call these two parts the Rupa Dhamma for the body and Nama Dhamma for the mind. It's our responsibility to learn to take care of both. When we speak of the Rupa Khandha, and that is that material aspect of our life, and it can bring us problems. That is because the body is a symphony of many different organs, which if they're not all working well, it can lead to a breakdown. And fundamental to the function of our body is the digestive tract. So for those of us that enjoy eating delicious food, we might think that food only brings us happiness and benefit, but it's not the case. Food also brings us danger and harm, and if our body becomes clogged up with all kinds of blockages and toxins there in the intestines, in the digestive system, then that can affect the way that we feel. And so then our nervous system is affected and our moods can be affected as well. The Buddha said we should take responsibility for our bodies, and we should see if it may be the case that we need to do something to manage the body and bring about a more wholesome state. If we're feeling blocked and irritated, it could just be that we need to clean out this body which we rely upon from day to day. In fact, if you know somebody who seems irritable and angry all the time, perhaps they're not a bad person, they simply feel afflicted by this kind of difficult state for the body. And so if we can clean out that body, then we can bring about a better state. And I know a method for that. I've done this myself and I've taught it before. I've seen the benefit for myself and for others. If that intestine becomes blocked with a lot of grease and protein, all kinds of old food, then we may need to just give it a good clean out in just the same way that if our clothes become dirty, then we do the laundry so that our clothes don't smell. So when the intestine is full with that which is unclean, then that can lead us to these difficult, unpleasant states and feelings. And we can cut off that problem at the root by cleaning out the body. And so this is a simple method, and you need to know the formula, and you need to gather together the ingredients first of all. Clean water is the most basic and simple ingredient. You won't need much. You'll only need about 800 milliliters, which is the same as 2 large cups of water. And you'll need 2 large spoons, 2 tablespoons of Epsom salts, magnesium sulfate. That'll be mixed together with that 800 mils of water. You'll also need 8 limes or lemons and 200 mils of extra virgin olive oil. First of all, you need to gather together these 4 key ingredients, and you need the time, the space, and the opportunity. You need a free afternoon, a free night, and a free the next morning. Then, having the time and place, you need to make up your mind that it's time to do a detox, it's time to clean out one's home, and it's time to focus on doing this and rest the body from all other activities. Because from 4 p.m, we'll stop eating and drinking and won't even drink water from 4 p.m. unless we absolutely have to. And then when it comes to 6 p.m, we start to drink this mixture of Epsom salts and water, which beforehand we will have mixed together by shaking it up in a bottle. And that whole 2 tablespoons, which we've previously mixed up with 800 mils, is now going to be divided into 4 parts. So we drink 1 part at 6 p.m. and drink another part at 8 p.m. And then as 10 p.m. approaches, we're going to do something special. Prior to 10 p.m, we need to get it ready. We need to cut and squeeze and strain those 8 limes and then pour the 200 mils of extra virgin olive oil into the same shakeable container and then shake it up so that it mixes well. You'll be ready by 8 p.m. You'll be right next to the bed where you're going to rest and lie down. Then you clear away anything that needs washing up so that you can simply sit on the bed and drink down that olive oil mixed with lime and then close the lid, lie back and lie as still as possible. And so this is the time when those Epsom salts which have opened up all of the tubes inside, they'll send the bile through those tubes because they've been prompted by that olive oil, and all of that will go through the stomach and go into the intestines, and you'll simply lie still for as long as possible. You'll rest through the night, and as it gets closer to the early morning, then the bowel will get ready to move. And it's the job of the bowel then to clean out all of those toxins in the final round of cleaning out that which has already been flushed out of the gallbladder and out of the liver. So at 3 a.m. we have another 200 mils of the Epsom salt water, and 4 a.m. we have that last drink of Epsom salt water. The diarrhea will come and you'll need to use the bathroom many times, so be ready to have easy access to that bathroom. And then, as dawn comes from about 6 p.m, you can then gradually start to drink water and juice, eat fruit, eat soft food and eat some breakfast. And then later in the morning, you can have a full meal. Take it easy throughout that morning and that day as the intestine continues to clean itself out with those very liquid bowel movements. And then rest up well. You'll feel better. You've cleaned the body out well and hopefully freed the gallbladder and liver from a lot of obstructions. This is a complete detox, gallbladder, liver, and the bowel. You don't need to do it often. You should only do it every, say, 5 years, because you don't want something too clean. You'll kill off all those friendly bacteria and lose your immunity. But if you do it when it's needed, this can lead you to a better state of health. And that's for the sake of the health of the body. So we do the best we can to take care of the body. But ultimately we know that body still is subject to those universal characteristics of all physical things, and in fact of all conditioned things. They have the samanya lakkhana, the 3 characteristics of imperfection, impermanence, and not self. It doesn't belong to us, it belongs to nature. So this is just part of taking care of the material body, so that as best we can, we won't fall into a state of we won't fall into a state of helplessness and then fall into a debt of gratitude to others. So with mindfulness and wisdom, we know how to take care of ourselves. So this is how we take care of the body and remove one other possible cause for worries.
Namayang Vadakata Sadhu Karangadama Sai